Chapter 14. Lethal Threat. 2171, Black Suit's Fortress.
"Hey, Swan!"
exclaims a guard.
"You have new cellmates!"
The cell is opened and two new prisoners are led inside. Swan recognizes two familiar faces. They're Harry and Cheetah. None of the three can believe their eyes. Awe and wonder fill the atmosphere. After a warm hug, Swan starts telling his long tale of what happened to him and the terrible, strange events that occur in that fortress. Harry, in turn, recounts everything that transpired in the bunker, their encounter with the Black Suits, and their subsequent capture. Days pass, and the Black Suits take Cheetah and Harry's precious blood. Two patients, Gons number 1670, also known as Julius, and Sloth, the giant gorilla who caused chaos in the cafeteria days earlier, are transferred to the cells opposite theirs. After general introductions, Swan suggests an escape plan. The group likes the idea. No one wants to spend an extra day in that awful place, so it's worth a try. Night falls. The prisoners know that there's less surveillance and attention at this time. Julius and Sloth, following the plan, fake a fight to attract the two on-duty guards. One of them, armed with a stun gun, enters the cell to try to quell the two brawlers, while the other remains outside with his back turned to Harry's cell. Taking advantage of the distraction, Cheetah skillfully extends one of her blue tentacles out of the bars and snatches the cell keys hanging from the guard's belt. Once the theatrics are over, everything returns to normal, and the guards resume their posts. After a few hours, the prisoners leave their cells and sneak undetected into the guards' room, knocking them out without triggering any alarms. Then, they retrieve a few gas masks from the lockers and head to the canteen. Behind the canteen is a large stockroom with a garbage chute leading directly outside the fortress. The shaft is large enough for all the escapees to pass through, allowing them to flee unnoticed. They quickly take the road to the northeastern mountains, the least guarded area, hoping to find temporary shelter. Upon reaching the base of a hill, they spot two guards patrolling and quickly hide behind some bushes. Sloth, with his clumsy and noisy steps, attracts the guards' attention. At that moment, he pounces on them before they can react. During the scuffle, one of the Black Suits delivers a powerful blow to Sloth's head, breaking his mask. Sloth hurls the Black Suit into the air with a powerful and extremely violent horn blast, while the rest of the group manages to neutralize the second guard. However, no one celebrates. An icy silence descends because everyone knows that Sloth has inhaled the contaminated gas. They continue their escape until they reach the top of the hill, when Swan alerts the group by shouting,
"Look out! More guards!"
Sloth is furious. He gets into an attack position and prepares to lash out at everything and everyone, but Harry cries out in surprise, "No! They're our brothers!" Under those yellow suits, indeed, are John, Reese, and Luke, searching for their comrades. The general exhilaration passes quickly, because everyone knows they're not yet safe and must find shelter immediately. By now, it's late morning, and the group heads for the mountains to go around them and resume the path to the bunker. Sloth is in bad shape, but still manages to keep going. He seems quite resistant to the viruses. His strength continues to astonish everyone. After hours of walking and fatigue setting in, they finally reach the foot of the mountains and spot the entrance to a cave. They decide to inspect it, hoping to spend the night there. Suddenly, a frightening creature emerges from the cave. The beast immediately proves hostile and fiercely attacks them. The group tries to defend itself. Sloth decides to sacrifice himself to save everyone and fearlessly hurls himself at the beast. But the monster is very strong and Sloth is violently thrown against the wall. Unexpectedly, two great and magnificent dragons appear from above and rescue the gorillas, knocking the monster away. Harry rushes to help Sloth, but there's nothing more to be done. He dies from the impact. After a moment of discouragement and despair, one of the dragons tells the group to mount up and flee in the direction of their refuge, a safe place on top of the mountains. Soon, the cave would be filled with other monstrous beings, and at that point, no one would have any chance of escape. Upon reaching the top of the mountain, one of the dragons invites the gorillas to remove their masks, explaining that the toxic gas can't reach them at that height. The dragons continue to explain that the monsters living in the caves are nocturnal and deadly beings, the Chimeras. A few years earlier, some of these creatures emerged from the Black Fortress and took refuge in the depths of the caves, attracted by the amber, their food, but also their poison. Over time, the amber caused them to mutate repeatedly. Unfortunately, the amber also accelerated their reproductive system, leading them to multiply rapidly. Their presence is a threat to the existence of dragons and will surely be a lethal threat to all inhabitants of the wastelands in the future. The Chimeras, however, are limited in their ability to fly, which is why the dragon's shelter is a safe place. The group is then approached by the leader of the dragons, who asks for their help in ending the existence of the Chimeras. He reveals that during the day, these terrible nocturnal beings are holed up in the deepest bowels of the mountain, dormant. The dragons, due to their size, can't sneak into the caves without being discovered and overwhelmed by the horde of monsters. At that point, the ancient dragon, the leader, shows a crude map depicting the various entrances and tunnels leading to the caves. He hands it to John, who, aware of the great threat, accepts the mission without hesitation. John explains that before taking action, they must return to the bunker to devise a careful plan and retrieve all necessary resources. The dragons offer to transport the gorillas, as flying would save time and avoid the dangers on land. So, the gorillas return to the bunker in less than a day, aboard some majestic dragons.